on energy hasten the need for more coal in this country?
I think without any question they hasten the need, because as we go forward, we all know that if you have a steel plant in the United States, if you have coal-fired power plants that are producing wonderful electricity in the United States, absolutely there's no tariffs tied to that whatsoever. We have become so dependent. The coal industry is so dependent upon exported coal and in every way. But with all in me, I can promise you just this. My mom and dad were really proud of coal and really proud of the people of coal. They're craftsmen, they're smart, they're good people and everything. They're the production engine of this country like you can't imagine, and have been that through our world wars and on and on and on. But with that today, I absolutely could have big tears in my eyes, because I can't tell you how proud they would be right now of our president. Now, I absolutely mean this with all my soul. I think the whole world of Donald Trump and his whole family, and have been that way for a long time. And I'm a dear friend, and I will stay that way, rock solid. But today, he is again stepping out and doing something that is great for America, and tying coal to our tariffs and the situation today. I don't think you can tie the two directly together today. But with all that being said, I think as far as the tariffs go, give it time. I mean, this man is a business genius. I'm a business guy. I'm not a politician. I absolutely speak the truth. And with all that, I would just say, give it time. Let's see how this plays out. And if it's a little off kilter, he'll adjust. I know he will. I know him that well.
Well, you may be a businessman, but, Senator, you are a United States Senator that represents your constituents in West Virginia. And I do wonder if you're not at all fearful of potential economic blowback on your state of these tariff policies, or more specifically, the retaliatory measures that other countries are taking against the U.S. because of them.
No, I would just say it's perfectly fine. And I'm in the same boat. We're all concerned because the uncertainty is absolutely rampant. But there's no need today in running through the villages with our hair on fire. I mean, come on. Give the man time to do his job. We elected him overwhelmingly. Give him time to do his job. He's a good man. And absolutely, I bet you he'll prove to be right.
Well, of course, some Republicans are already looking for somebody to blame, Senator. During the USTR's hearing this morning, Jamieson Greer was on the Senate side ahead of his House testimony tomorrow. Republican Senator Tom Tillis, your colleague from North Carolina, had this to say about the administration's tariff policy. Let's listen together.
In this scenario, the decision maker who decided the alla prima approach, who has obviously had to have spent time anticipating what we saw in the markets and some of the pushback, I'm assuming this all got gamed out because it's a novel approach. It needed to be thought out. Whose throat do I get to choke if this proves to be wrong?
Whose throat do I get to choke if this proves to be wrong? Senator, is he correct? Was this gamed out?
No, I think it's first of all disrespectful. I think it's just inappropriate in every way and everything. I really believe that it's fair to say we're concerned. To say that we're just absolutely running through the woods so nervous that we don't know which way to turn is ridiculous. To say that this has not been well thought out is totally ridiculous. And with all that being said, I really truly believe, and I'll go back to this every single time, from the standpoint of what we saw today, our president sees exactly the same thing that I see. And that is, energy is the key, period. It's all about energy. We should absolutely be absolutely ruling, not necessarily ruling, but we should be a dominant player in energy all across the globe. That's what we did today. You know, Senator Tillis is probably upset in many ways about whatever it may be. I'm okay with him being concerned. I'm not okay with him being disrespectful.
Well, as we consider your points on energy, Senator, obviously there has to be demand for that energy. And we're hearing a lot here on Bloomberg TV and radio about the possibility of a recession or enough of a downward pressure on growth that it will crimp energy demand. Are we about to unleash more supply at a time in which there might not be appetite for it?
Look, as far as I'm concerned, if you're really fair, if we don't watch out, and you can take this little guy that's sitting on this stool and take his advice, or maybe you don't choose to. But with all that being said, if we don't do something today, in a year and a half from today, we're going to have to make one or two decisions. We're going to have to choose homes, or we're going to have to choose jobs and energy, or jobs and industry, because we're not going to be able to do both. There's no way. If we don't fix our grid and we don't really ramp up energy production in this country today, we're going to be in one whale of a mess a year and a half from today. Are we going to have AI? Are we going to have the data centers? Are we going to let China rule? Are we going to awaken to a Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran all together? Are we going to have a national security issue? What's going to happen? And anybody in their right mind that has watched the previous administration bumble around and do everything that they did, how in the world could we possibly not give this man his due and let him absolutely orchestrate which way this country needs to go?
You know, one of the major components of the Trump agenda is, of course, extending the Trump tax cuts, Senator. And this is a process that you're right in the middle of right now, with a reconciliation process that's just getting underway on Capitol Hill. There are big questions about how to pay for it. And I realize some of this gets down to a procedural matter, whether we're talking about the current baseline or not. The fact of the matter is there's a discussion about whether to follow through with steep cuts to Medicaid. With 28% of the West Virginia population covered by Medicaid and CHIP, will you keep that from happening in the Senate?
Listen, I do not believe it'll happen. I mean, I really don't believe it'll happen, you know, because I don't believe at the end of the day that Donald Trump is going to hurt our elderly or our kids. I don't believe that at all. You know, and with all in me, in West Virginia, a lot of folks depend on Medicaid. And I would have to be very concerned and look very strongly at it. But I want to just tell you just this. When I walked in the door as governor of West Virginia 8 years ago, plus ago, when I walked in the door, West Virginia was just upside down, in many ways, just like our nation's upside down. What did we do? Here's exactly the playbook we did. We cut as much waste as we could possibly cut. We absolutely got rid of unnecessary regulations, all that we possibly could. We kept a flat budget, and we turned ourselves loose to grow. To grow. Absolutely, we had, because any businessman in the world would tell you just this. If you don't mind the store and get rid of the waste, you're doing no job at all. But with all that being said, then you have got to grow revenue. And that's what our president is trying to do right here today. We're trying to grow revenue with energy because we have the cleanest energy in all the world, and every single country all across this globe, every single country, big or small, the more energy they have, the longer their people live and the healthier their people are. Now, come on, absolutely, in America, we don't need to blow our legs off to the pleasing of China's or India's or whomever it may be. You know, absolutely, right now we've got a real opportunity. And as far as the tax breaks, I cut taxes in West Virginia 26 times. We ended up with surpluses like you can't imagine in West Virginia. In every way, West Virginia became the diamond in the rough that everybody missed. You know, absolutely, I am all for getting rid of, making permanency to the tax cuts.